The critical question in the West today is, can freedom survive where virtue isn't able to flourish? Hi, I'm Chuck Colson with this week's 2-Minute Warning. What was the ultimate cause of the financial meltdown in 2008? Well, the press say it was a lack of regulation by Washington, or some say it was too much regulation. Some say it was the result of predatory lenders on Wall Street chasing easy money. Some will even admit that it was a result of greed on Main Street from people who took on mortgages they could never realistically pay off. And you know what? They're right, all of them. But as I've been saying for a long time, there's something even more fundamental going on that this crisis has revealed, and which too few people recognize: a lack of prudence. Wall Street, Capitol Hill, yes, Main Street cast aside prudence in exchange for money, votes, and the American dream. And what we got in return? A national economic nightmare, a worldwide meltdown. What then is this virtue called prudence, and how do we get it back? Well, first, let's face the fact that prudence in our day has an essentially negative reputation. Remember all those jabs by comedians at President George H.W. Bush, who was pictured as an overly cautious commander-in-chief, supposedly saying that a particular action wouldn't be prudent? And when was the last time parents of a newborn girl named their daughter Prudence? See what I mean? Prudence seems about as old-fashioned as a horse and buggy. But this reputation is completely undeserved. It tells us a lot more about ourselves than about the cardinal virtue of prudence, which the ancients also called wisdom. And that's why we're in the midst of this refresher course on the virtues with these 2-minute warnings. We've got to see the connection between an appalling lack of virtue on the part of the nation's citizens, including many of us in the church, and the mess that we're in this nation and this culture. More than that, we need to relearn the virtues, or learn them for the first time, if we're ever going to turn this nation around and have a return to prudence or wisdom. It's absolutely essential. Prudence does not mean an excess of caution in the face of necessary action. No, the one who is prudent possesses the wisdom to practice all the virtues in the right time and circumstance. Prudence is not timid. It is practical, focused on real life. Prudence connects the universal moral principles we all believe in with the here and now. Prudence makes all the other virtues, including temperance, courage, and justice, effective in transforming our character and changing our lives and the life of our society. To take just one example, while parents are supposed to love their children, every mom or dad knows that love is expressed in different ways, depending on the situation. When your child is hurt or in trouble, love may involve giving comfort and empathy. At other times, it may mean giving him or her a swift kick in the pants. Prudence will tell you which kind of love is the most appropriate. There's nothing negative or wimpy about that. The Bible, when applied in our lives, is a fountainhead of prudence. Regarding God's decrees, the psalmist says, "By them is your servant warned. In keeping them is great reward." That's not just talk, my friends. If we're ever going to get out of this economic mess, prudence will need to become much more to us than just a punchline. For more on the virtue of prudence, visit colsoncenter.org. I'm Chuck Colson. That's this week's 2-Minute Warning. And of course, you and I know that politics is nothing but an expression of culture. So where are we as a church to be concerned? We're to be terribly concerned with bringing Christian truth to bear in all of culture. Again, something Lewis talked about repeatedly, so that we can govern ourselves, so that there is a sense of virtue among the people, so that we can behave responsibly.